entered the digital era. AI, warfare, and China's acceleration has begun. The battlefield has changed. It's no longer just boots on the ground, it's bandwidth, satellites, artificial intelligence, data control. The military has officially entered the digital era, and most people don't understand how deep that shift really is. Tonight, we're breaking down what that means for warfare, global power, and the future soldier. Then, verse now. Old warfare, known as conventional, was industrial. It involved mass troop movement, tank columns, air superiority, physical territory dominance. Digital warfare, AI assisted targeting, cyber attacks, electronic warfare, satellite disruption, autonomous drones, information warfare. The key: wars are now decided by who controls data before boots ever move. And caveat for this: I have a buddy of mine that what they do, they work out of Tonopah Air Base in Nevada, and they went to school for training, and this is what they do. They are able to drop, bombs or missiles, whatever, on their particular targets, and from any location, but still remain in the states. And for him and others that do that specific job, is considered a military deployment and combat. Now, many of you guys probably may ask, okay, that kind of sounds like it's kind of like a video game, and in a sense, it is like a video game. The difference is the stakes are much higher, and he has to be unbelievably accurate, because if you are operating from a location in the states, and say with some um, computerized equipment, some headsets and stuff like that, and then also he has to coordinate with military forces, to include pilots that are actually in that particular theater. So when I say theater, what I'm talking about is that particular area of operation. With the military, a theater can be like a mini continent. So, good example. If you wanted to say a European theater, then what that would entail, it would entail the military being in any area where European countries are. And so, what militaries do and what governments do, they divide the earth up, by a theater. Like you got Pacific, for if it's Army, it would be PACOM, Pacific Army Command. If it's Air Force, it would be Pacific Air Command. You see what I'm saying? If it's United States, Army, in Europe, it would be like USENTCOM would control that. Or if it's Air Force, U.S. Air Forces Europe, it would be USAFE, acronym USAFE. So I'm just trying to give you an idea of how the military organizes, geographic locations around the world. So, and it would make sense, why would you just have, say, one country, say Japan, when you have a whole bunch of countries in, say, that Pacific region, or that the Asian continent, which obviously it would either be China would obviously be the biggest, Anyway, so what he does is kind of like operating in a video game scenario with sophisticated equipment, headsets, all that stuff like that. And it's kind of like being in a simulator room, except the difference is this is real. And It seems like it would sound like this job would be very easy to do, but it's not. It's highly stressful because with the control systems, that he's operating, if he slightly, what I'm saying, tinkers something slightly to the left, he could possibly hit a wrong target and he may wind up unaliving some civilians, or he could wind up giving the pilots, the wrong, coordinates, even though the pilots themselves have their own systems and stuff like that, but they still work with a tactical base, what I'm saying, as well as having autonomy. So he has to this job, it requires a lot of serious training, and it requires a lot of hours in a simulation room. I guess it's like a combination of a highly stressful video game and like a being in a flight simulator, but you have to be literally um, that accurate. If your coordinations are off, and granted, he wouldn't be directly affected because he's operating from a room. He's in a technologically advanced. What I'm saying. Um, um, it's kind of like a simulated room. What I'm saying. But the actual battle, is taking place boots on the ground somewhere else. So he got to be on his game. I'll just put it to you that way. Um, there's no he just can't cruise, on autopilot, and he also operates a lot of drones. You know what I'm saying? So he operates, the drones, and he flies them out, and the drones, they go to whatever theater or to their specific location, and they get to their target, and then he then releases, whatever missiles or um, whatever ammunition needs to be dropped, or whatever it is, even if it's not ammo, whatever needs to be dropped so it can reach its target. That is what he does. So this is something that's real, and it's very serious, but I figure a lot of you ladies and gentlemen, you probably could relate to a video game, except a video game that's live and that's actually real, where the stakes are really high. That be my best way of explaining it, but um think about it like several thousand times much more stressful, because this is the real deal. Anyway, guys, let me move on. Okay. Now, AI and autonomous systems, drone swarm capability, AI predictive battlefield systems, logistics optimization via artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, urban warfare, surveillance tech, electronic spectrum warfare. The next superpower won't just control territory, it will control algorithms. United States versus China. China, centralized acceleration, surveillance integration, smart city infrastructure, long term artificial intelligence investment. The United States, semiconductor dominance, private innovation, cloud infrastructure leadership. Russia, military artificial intelligence focus, less civilian integration. This is not just an arms race, folks. It's a compute race. And he that is ahead in artificial intelligence will be the one that will control and win the war on the battlefield. Now, when we talk about China with centralized acceleration, obviously, we know China is heavily invested and is leading the race in artificial intelligence. Um, you can look at different digital systems. China already has what, the social credit score, where they have cameras all over the place. And if a Chinese citizen so much say if they litter or say they jaywalk, um, they get penalized, for not following and fitting in with the rules of society. So China also is one of the few countries that basically is virtually a cashless society, and China has been that way for a couple of years now. But cash has basically been phased out, so they've basically gone digital. That was one reason why they kicked out Bitcoin as being the hub of Bitcoin. China was the hub, of Bitcoin, but they pushed it out because they wanted the digital yuan, and also they wanted to create a digital currency for the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and there's a whole bunch of others that have come on board that have gone into a centralized digital currency, which is backed by gold. you know, and when it comes to surveillance integration, China is like the master. I mean, they keep their surveillance game on point, and they maintain centralized control of the country, and to a certain degree, its citizens. They believe in, obviously, smart city infrastructure. There are a couple of cities, from what I understand, in China already that they have been already turned into smart cities that are ran by artificial intelligence. So this is something China is already obviously working on, and they're they already got it going. So it's a bit beyond the test phase, but because it's early, I'll still say it's in the test phase, and so they're seeing how artificial intelligence, see how it can run a particular location or a whole city. Now, the United States with the semiconductor dominance, obviously, this is why you have this big beef and concern with China and the U.S. squabbling over Taiwan. They don't want China to take back Taiwan because Taiwan produces those precious metals that are needed, for semiconductors. Taiwan is a major hub and producer, of that, and so the United States is wary, of China taking Taiwan back. Now, I mean, in all reality, Taiwan, even though it's an independent nation by right, it is part of China. To be honest with you, it is part of China. But the Brits obviously, took it, and they, finally released it when they gave back Hong Kong to China. But by right, land wise and nation, really, it does belong rightfully to China. But Taiwan doesn't want to, go up under communist regime. They like, their westernized freedoms. So, and no offense, to any Taiwanese, anything like that. I'm just basically stating some things. I'm not saying that I hope that China takes time. I'm not saying that at all. I hope that Taiwan can maintain its independence. They've done an outstanding job. Outstanding. So I hope that China, allows them to maintain their independence. Now, private innovation in the United States, obviously, you can't beat it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of China's corporations, a lot of times, a lot of them are government sponsored, so the government maintains control. Whereas here in the United States, your corporations basically are it's called the private sector. So, corporations are separate entities here in America, and they function separately from the government. Even though private and public sector, they both work together. They, shake each other's hand. One hand washes the other, both hands, wash the face, and both are integral parts of the United States infrastructure and its society. Now, cloud infrastructure leadership, yeah, the United States got that game on smash, man. That right there, we do have, on lock. The United States is still one of the major leaders in artificial intelligence and, what I'm saying, the cloud. And the United States allows, um, tech giants or individual creators, to create, different types of technology. And one of the reasons why we're able to stay ahead and stay abreast in that area is because the United States does what's known as a brain drain. We don't only pull talent from within the United States, but we pull the best from all over the world because we're able to pay for it. So we are able to offer certain contracts, certain incentives. We're able to pay individuals coming from all parts of the world, from India, you know, um, Africa. You know what I'm saying? And please forgive me if I can't name everything from Europe, Canada, and so they see those dollar signs and they want that paper, so they migrate to the United States, the best and the brightest, and as a result, the United States pays them much higher wages. Silicon Valley. I mean, I could go on, but um, so we get the best and the brightest within our own country. So and from all over the world. So we have this top 1% talent pool that we are able to draw from, and they come up with creations and innovations which our society and our government, it benefits from, you know yes, but I guess that's the benefit of being the supposedly the wealthiest nation, and so I still believe that China is taking a slight edge. They both are obviously on the chessboard. You know, one of them is one and two, but they both are neck and neck. And they cannot deal without each other. As United States is China's biggest customer. You know, so they're running neck and neck. But I think China may have taken a slight edge. As the new sheriff in town. Now, Russia, they do have artificial intelligence, and they are obviously moving more towards AI focus and less civilian integration, meaning the use of people. So they have begun to migrate, what I'm saying, or to blend artificial intelligence, what I'm saying, as part of their infrastructure. They have a strong focus on it. You know, Now, guys, next up, hey, I told you we can't sleep. Africa and global infrastructure. And if you guys don't already know, recently now, United States corporations have finally decided to get on board, just like China and Russia, and now they are going into Africa to invest. So Africa now is basically, they have become a global marketplace, for the world. Everybody wants to get in from the ground up because they see what's happening. See, what happens is once you get a big wig like China in, and then when you get the big dog, the United States of America in, money and everything and power, everything else is going to follow. So Africa is going to be on a boom. That market, it is going to accelerate. And I said it before, if you have a few pennies, what I'm saying, to invest, I highly recommend. I'm not giving any financial advice, but I highly recommend you better take a look at Africa, and you better take Africa seriously, because that continent is on the rise, but what's happened is that by China going in there and doing what America should have done and would not do, now that they invest in I'm talking about Africa is moving. The United States hand has been forced, what I'm saying, because China has accelerated. And so if the United States does not get in there, on the ground up, they're going to be locked out. That's why they made that move in Latin America, with Venezuela, and also made that move with Greenland. Their hand has been forced, what I'm saying, by China, Russia, and the BRICS. I told you the BRICS, what I'm saying, is here to stay, you know, and now Africa, the continent of Africa, and also the continent of Latin America, it can no longer be ignored. So If you got a few pennies or you can scrape together something for retail investors, hey, you got to follow the money. So you better get in there, get in Africa on the ground up, get in Latin America on the ground up, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, me, I'm rolling, rolling that way, man. You cannot, you know what I'm saying, ignore the inevitable. And Africa's time has come. They have every single resource on the planet. And now China has already gone in, and China don't put their dibs in. So now the United States is finally, they pulled their Trumpism, baby. They go on and said, hey, you know, said we got to do the art of the deal. Let's make a deal. And so people can talk about, you know what I'm saying? You can talk about President Trump all you want to, but I'm gonna tell you what, that man is going in, you know what I'm saying, with the art of the deal. You know what I'm saying? And obviously we know that there's powers that be that are behind them, but they recognize what time it is, and now they know they have no choice. You can't ignore Africa, and you can no longer ignore Latin America. It is what it is, guys. You know what I'm saying? So either they have the choice, you know what I'm saying? Like Beanie Siegel said, in state property, you can either if you can either lay down or you can either get down or you're gonna lay down. And if you lay down, you're gonna stay down. The famous words, you know what I'm saying, of Beanie Siegel, baby, state property. And so, their hand has been forced due to external pressure, by China, Russia, and the BRICS. So now, you know what I'm saying, they got to get with the program. They got to get down. And so Africa, put it this way, let me give you, I think the best analogy I could use. Picture Africa like a global Wall Street or a global stock market or a global Nasdaq that all the players in the world got to run to. That means governments, corporations, and retail investors. you know because wherever when as corporations roll, that means they create jobs. They create jobs for the citizens, in those different in African continent. And then plus also they're going to recruit people and talent, from various parts of the world in order to build up infrastructure, artificial intelligence systems, science and technology, medicine and health. I mean, you name it, as well as pull on the local talent that is in the continent of Africa. So all of this is going on, and so when money is being spent, I'm saying that means it's investment time. It's investment time, guys, ladies and gentlemen. So if I say guys, I mean you ladies are included too. It is investment time. So do not sleep on Africa and global infrastructure. I'm telling you. Watch Greenland, also, watch Latin America. You keep your eyes on Latin America also. Watch Venezuela. Corporations are coming. I am telling you. And when you begin, let me tell you what's going to happen when you begin to see the U.S. make their move into any theater or any country. Military bases are coming, so they're gonna work out a deal. Saying, hey, can we rent? Say or lease this land? We want to build, some military bases. They're gonna bring, troops in so that they can be stationed there. Y'all know how the United States gets down. Y'all know how they get down, and yeah, and also, China's gonna get their dibs. China gonna get their dibs. Russia, so you're gonna have military bases. Chinese military bases in there, if they're not already there. Russian, they're going to expand. You see what I'm saying? And you're going to have the United States. So you're going to have basically like the arch nemesis and the rivals all with military presence in the same theater, because um, every resource is there and everybody is trying to. I'm framing these nations like people, everybody wants to get their cut. Nobody wants to be left out. And these are some big players. You see what I'm saying? And so everybody is going in, to make the deal um, with Africa, And so hopefully this time around, I hope that the leaders in Africa that this time that they make wise decisions. Don't let the West in Asia dupe you out, what I'm saying, of your wealth and your inheritance. What I'm saying? Make the right moves this time, what I'm saying? Don't let them dupe you out of it. and get make sure that you say what goes and make the right deals, so that way now Africa is on the map. And unfortunately, this is something that the United States and the West, had feared. They never wanted something like this to happen. That's why rest in peace, Muammar Gaddafi, you know what I'm saying? When he tried to unite, the African nations and get them on a one African what was it? It's like kind of similar to like the euro dollar, but that's what he was trying to do. And as a result, like I said, I don't want to say no names, but y'all know the deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm on certain things I can't say, you know. But as you can see, he has exited the station, and the powers that be who had something to do with that, that was orchestrated. But anyway, let me move on. But yeah, so yeah, Africa um obviously is an emerging strategic tech zone. Infrastructure partnerships, yes. Data sovereignty, energy plus AI integration, smart urban development. And so with the continent of Africa, obviously some parts are more developed, than others, but with Africa has been down so long that it has nowhere to go but up. So I was always taught, when I was in my master's program, my professor, he said that if you can't be the best at something, say either be first or differentiate yourself. And so you can do that as a business or as an individual. It's basically like branding yourself, So if, let's say, we just use a YouTube or Rumble channel, you have some channels that they got in first on Rumble or YouTube, and as a result, they were able to build their following. You know what I'm saying? And their channels have proven successful. Some individuals were just extremely talented, and they were able to blow up with a certain niche. You know, some others, what I'm saying, they said, okay, saying I wasn't first here. What I'm saying, I got to YouTube or Rumble late. So it's like, okay, this niche is already here, and it's kind of saturated. So what is it that I can do, where I can stand out? So what they do, they differentiate themselves. They choose a niche that is unique, what I'm saying, and that people will want to follow, that ain't too many people doing it, or that they're good at. So by differentiating themselves, they're able to carve a space out for themselves. You know, so like I said, if you can't be first, what I'm saying, hey, what I'm saying, either be better. If you can't be better, then be different. What I'm saying, differentiate. You know what I'm saying, you know. But yeah, so the next generation of AI cities um, may not be in the West. They may emerge where infrastructure leapfrogs legacy systems. And you're talking about, I'm telling you right now, you're talking about Africa and Latin America, because they have to build. They got to catch up. What I'm saying? You got Ethiopia, and granted, what I'm saying, Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. I mean, you have modern parts of Ethiopia, but there's still a lot more room for growth. And Ethiopia is part, I believe, of the BRICS nations, and they are accelerating in their building. So it's like, you know, you better stop sleeping. What I'm saying, on these other nations. They coming. What I'm saying, India. What I'm saying, guys, get in, what I'm saying, on the ground up, what I'm saying? Stop sleeping, what I'm saying, on these nations, because when you see the United States running, they are rushing, what I'm saying, to the chessboard, because they slept, what I'm saying, and China was steadily making moves, and now they realize, hey, wait a minute, hey, we falling behind. So when you see the US starting to hurry up, when you see the US government and US corporations trying to hurry up and get to the chessboard, that's when what I'm saying, get ready, what I'm saying, get it on the ground up. What I'm saying, follow along. Watch Greenland, watch, what I'm saying, the continent of Africa. I'm telling you, and watch Latin America. You mark my words, you wait and see. Anyway, let me get back. The modern warrior. The future military professional must be physically ready, 24/7, all day, every day, technically fluent, cyber aware, mentally adaptable, information discipline. And that's real talk. As we go moving and advancing into artificial intelligence and technology, the game has changed. How we do warfare, is going to be different. This is an information game. This is like psyops and military intelligence on steroids. You know, it's not going to be the same the way it is. And the one thing I will say um, about the United States military, obviously I was in it. Yeah, in some ways we might have been a little bit can be a bit bureaucratic, but the United States military um, is normally they're very fast to adjust. you know, they'll throw, what I'm saying, advanced systems in there and change it up. And normally, your military, we are normally ahead of the civilian sector. We give it to the civilians after we're done with it. After it's gone through its test trials, a lot of it gets tested on the military first. Systems, technology to see how it'll work. It's kind of like the military is a small sample size of the civilian population, like a guinea pig, to see how it works. And then if it's proven effective, then what'll happen, the military will have the system or technology been using it. And then what they do, they'll either sell it or if they're done with it and moved on to something else, they give it to the civilian side, what I'm saying? And then either the federal government or the civilian sector will take it in. Then they'll use it and either improve upon it and then they build on it and then they'll take it, what I'm saying, and then obviously sell it, to the civilian corporation. And that's normally how it works, from my experience. Okay. Now, um, cyber aware, mentally adaptable, and information discipline. The digital era doesn't eliminate the warrior, it evolves him or her. The question is, are we preparing the next generation for that reality? Peace out, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. Um, Name of this live stream, Snacks123, SNAKZ 123 on Rumble. So please subscribe and follow me here on Rumble. Hit the like or unlike button. If you like the content, if you want more content like this, hey, drop a comment, what I'm saying, and keep following me, you know. Also, leave a comment, guys. You know what I'm saying? I love to hear your thoughts and your perspective on this. Everybody has a right to be heard and is entitled to their opinion. Also, I have a YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube, EricBroadus YouTube, or EricBroadusYouTube.com. So please go over to my YouTube channel as well. Smash that bell to become a subscriber. Smash the bell, turn on all notifications, hit the like or unlike button to like or unlike the videos. Leave a comment, love to dialogue with you. Everyone has a right to be heard and is entitled to opinion. What say you? And also, I have my Snacks Thoughts podcast, SNAKZTHOUGHTS. Snacks Thoughts. My podcast can be found on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio PBM, SoundCloud, and a host of other social media outlets. So please join my Snacks Thoughts podcast. Love to have you guys. Drop your comment. You know what I'm saying? Love to hear from you. Dog log with you over there, Lassie. I have the 5 best weight loss products, guys. I will put the link in the description, and the link is normally it's in the description of my Rumble videos and my YouTube. So hey, hit the link. It's health and nutrition. You want to cut any body fat, get healthier. Lean out. You know, click on the link. So I recommend, guys. What I'm saying. Get the products, man, and also share the link with others. Next to God, the next best thing that you have is your health. You get one body, you get one life, man. Your health is your wealth. So take care of it, and your body will take care of you. But that's all I have, guys. What I'm saying? But share them. Snacks123 on Rumble. Eric brought us YouTube. Snacks Thoughts Podcast. And lastly, the 5 best weight loss products. That's all I have on this one, guys. I will see you guys soon on the next one.